Good evening, everyone. How are you doing? Well, good afternoon, because we're doing this early today. Today is December 22nd. Still goes back 3 months. December 22nd, 2019, and I hope everybody's been doing well. Well, I hope you've been doing better than people trying to keep up with the news, because this week has been some pretty insane stuff, especially if you're trying to cover anime news. And let me tell you, things are getting crazy, especially in the Udapre fandom. But we're going to talk about that in a minute. Woo! Okay. In this episode of How Can We Top This? Uh, different franchises have dropped some big news coming up. And we are going to get started on this now because we got a lot to talk about, especially when we get to Udapre. And we're going to backtrack to that one in a bit. So, here we go. Where do we begin? Well, let's begin with Idolish 7. Idolish 7 dropped a trailer recently for part 2 of episode 1 of Vibrato. For those who are unaware, Vibrato is a mini-series which airs exclusively on YouTube, same as this video that you'll be seeing now, and airs exclusively on one of Bandai Namco's YouTube channels. I believe it's the Visual Arts channel. I forget the exact name of it. Anyway, the first half was 15 minutes, and now they're going to do a second half. Finally, after how long? Almost a year. The episode will air January 17th, and we'll cover the second half of the situation with Trigger, one of the main groups that comprises the universe. We may or may not also get to see the group known as Reveal for the first time before the second season eventually comes out, which that has not been announced. If that had been announced, I guarantee you the internet would have broke, as if it didn't already break yesterday, but we're getting there. And then today. So, so that was a thing. Then the very popular puzzle / otome game known as Stand My Hero, which is having an anime come out sometime next year. They've been releasing character designs for the characters in their series. They have revealed now almost all of the main units of the series, save for, I think, the Kujo family. So that damn near broke the internet in of itself. Well, if you think we're done after that, no. And by the way, I know I'm going through this quickly because when we get to the Udapre stuff, that's like, in my mind, the big news. So, Banana Fish officially ended its series, and let me just come around and say this, it beat the fandom up something fierce, especially with the way it ended. I have not seen it. I have seen the ending, but I have not watched the series, and let me come around and say this, I'm planning on doing it in the very near future. One thing I will tell you is, oh boy, it's going to be depressing as hell for me to watch it, but I will do it, and I will do it for you. So, that's going to be a fun one. Oh, is that ever going to be a fun one? So, yeah, Banana Fish decided it was going to screw people up. Now, I'm going to skip the next part because that happened on Friday, but today, it was recently announced that My Hero Academia is getting a new season, but that's not coming out till October. Meanwhile, the folks over at Haikyuu announced there's going to be, I believe, season 4 we up to, but we don't know the exact time when that's going to be yet. They recently a PV was put out for it, and until we find out anything more, well, you're not going to be able to. We're not going to be able to really cover that, sadly. So it's like this. Idler 7, that's going to be a thing beginning January as far as Vibrato. Stand My Hero, we're still waiting on the release for the series. Banana Fish ends and pretty much messes up the fandom seriously, and Haikyuu drops Haikyuu and My Hero Academia. They decide they're going to drop some new seasons on everybody. We know one is in October. We don't know when the other one is yet. Whew! But then there's Udapre. Oh God. Okay, where do we begin with this one? Let's try this. So it's been announced for quite some time that on the 21st of December, so yesterday, there was going to be news related to Heavens, as well as, because that was supposed to happen, they were supposed to have their CD released a while ago. Now that's going to, well, we'll get to that in a second. But it was revealed that they were going to announce on the 21st, so yesterday, they announced that they were going to give us some news when it comes to the movie as far as a visual, what it's actually going to look like, pretty much, because they did drop a PV, and I'll talk about that in a second. The visual, by the way, that's got the fandom talking. And they've also, by the way, dropped the fact that, oh yeah, Heaven's single is coming out, but now it's going to come out after Anthem for the Angel. Remember how I said that was coming out March 13th? Anthem for the Angel comes out the month after that. So now that comes out April 3rd. But we have to talk Maji Love Kingdom because all you have to do is give them 20-some seconds and a visual, and now things are starting to get picked apart. Because when the PV dropped, which is, by the way, on King Amusement's YouTube channel, not King Records. When the PV dropped, people noticed a few things. One, there's a big castle as a backdrop. So there's that. But they also noticed something else. And that is this. The building in which all three groups appeared in looked kind of familiar to some people. So what somebody did was they screen capped it, and then they found pictures of a very famous dome in Japan, specifically the Tokyo Dome. So what did the fandom pick out? That the stage, that the Maji Love Kingdom concert is going to take place inside the Tokyo Dome. This has led the fandom to also discern and think that maybe there will be a seventh stage, and the seventh stage will be in that dome. I have also been told the only other dome big enough that could probably hold a Udapre concert at this point, if they were to go there, is a place called the Nissan Dome. And the only place bigger than that would be a world tour, period. So that is something to think about as we're moving along here, because a lot of crazy stuff is going on. But it gets even crazier. See, people not only picked that apart, but now people are picking apart in the fandom this. Apparently, when they did the visual, what they did was they put the 3 units in some form of some kind of formation with flowers and such. Stars, for example, was a heart. Quartet Knight was a diamond. The spade was heavens. If you notice anything about this, I just named 3 suits in a deck of playing cards. Well, there's 4. So the one outstanding is a club. So a friend of mine went and somehow stitched all of them together and showed the formation. And it had Stardust up top, Quartet Knight on the left, Heavens on the right. And when you form it, it looks exactly like a club or a clover. What's broccoli doing? This is what we're trying to figure out, because you see, now there's people believing, is there going to be a new rival group? Well, the question then comes, if there's going to be a new rival, where's it coming from? Because you've already got 2 agencies. Shining Agency, Raging Entertainment. What's up? One thought, at least one that I have, is so the concert's going to happen, but Raging is not exactly down with the fact that Heavens is working with Star and with Quartet Knight. So wouldn't it be something if he turned on them and said, oh, well, you couldn't beat them, so I got this group coming now? I don't know. That could be the end of the movie. It would be something. I don't know what. Nobody knows exactly what they're doing yet, as far as that goes. We don't really. Here's the weird thing: we don't really know the story that the movie is going to be doing yet. What we have been told through translating Agamatsu's tweets, Agamatsu from Elements Garden, is apparently this is going to be the first ever live performance animation. What that means is, well, basically it's going to be the first ever animated concert. That's what we're getting. What's going to be really interesting, though, is, okay, well, you're going to have the following. Because they've said it's going to feature the shuffle units and then, of course, the group singles. The last group single that we know is coming out is, of course, in April. The movie, by the way, is slated to come out June 14th. And by the way, this was blown when apparently someone leaked something, or somebody got a hold of something that had the 3 bromides you can buy. Well, it turns out that sales poster had the date for the movie. Now, the good news is that's all it had, but nobody, because you can't really discern what the movie's going to be about then. But the fact that that leaked was kind of, and I only know about that because somebody found it through a Indonesian account of all things. That was interesting. And we don't know how that person found it. So you already know heads are going to roll, right? But what do we really make of this? Because this is one of the grandest stages possible, the Tokyo Dome. It has been referred to as in many respects as Japan's equivalent to Madison Square Garden, which is one of the most historic arenas in the country, in this country. The big thing I think we're trying to figure out, or at least I'm trying to figure out, is so what are they going to do with the Udapri story as far as the idea or the concept of um, continuing? Because there are people that believe, well, you can't really continue the anime because once Starish won the Triple S, which, if we're honest, that was actually Quartet Night, but that whole thing happened. Um, and you know it's true, by the way. Sorry, but it's always interesting to think about this because now, okay, if we're leaving the possibility open for a fourth group to be a club, who is it? Who is it, and why do they come in? This almost makes me think, almost, from this point forward, Udapri's primary vehicle is going to be an anime series once Dulce Vita drops. I say this because once Dulce Vita comes out, that's it for the Vita. A lot of international fans, I don't know, but I'm going to guess that a lot of international fans may or may not purchase a Udapri game if it goes to Switch. They may or they may not. We don't know yet. Because Sony, for the most part, there's been like one time that I can remember, Sony has been the home for Utena Princess as far as the game series goes. Crunchyroll has been pretty much the primary home for the anime that I remember, at least in North America. So it would be interesting to see how that all works. There's also this, and this push has started with the fandom, and I'm going to make my case here. The movie comes out June 14th, correct? So we have over 5 months now before we get to see the fruits of the labor with this series. The issue is this, and this is a big one, and I need people to understand this. Typically, when movies come out in Japan, there's about at least a year gap from the time the movie comes out in Japan to the time it goes to DVD there. Then it's about another year before it comes out here on DVD form. So people are already like trying to get at Crunchyroll and ask them to either do a global screening for the movie or, as I've taken it, do a simulcast. If it has to be delayed, fine, but do some kind of simulcast and make it available for everybody to see. Don't put it behind a paywall for something like this. If you have to, put 5 ads on the darn thing. Do that. But people want to see the movie outside of Japan. People would like to be able to probably stream it legally without having to have somebody do some nefarious stuff. So Crunchyroll, let me ask this question. if you were asked to put the numbers out for how many people watched all 4 seasons of the series at this time, would Udemy be worth doing something nice for the fandom and giving them the movie that they want? Would it be worth doing that? I think it would. Matter of fact, I will tell you, especially from the standpoint of when all the news dropped, it pretty much broke the website for the movie. Every time Udemy news drops, the fandom goes to that website and things just, blow up. It actually gets harder. You think Broccoli and King would learn by now? Broccoli, King, and A1 Pictures would learn that, oh, by the way, we need to we need to strengthen these servers because every time we drop news about something major, we crash everything. I cannot remember this level of hype around the movie to the point where people have now said, give us a simulcasting, give us the movie. And you see, here's the problem. We know, and I know from experience, that if you do give us the movie and if you put it in places where it's screening, I already know you're going to put it in places where not everybody can see it. By that I mean this. For me, the closest places would be, say, Philadelphia, New York, Delaware. I promise, and mostly Philadelphia and Delaware. I promise you, if you do it, you'll do it 2 hours away in New York City. I promise you'll do that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, because there might be a lot of anime fans up there that want to see it. But then what you do is, you take the people that want to see it that may not be able to get there, and you kneecap them. Not a good look. One thing I neglected to mention in the come up to Friday is recently Crunchyroll got Kuroko's basketball and its movie, I believe, which was Extra Game. I'm going to be watching that at some point. But that took, what, a year. So what are you going to do? Are you literally going to, when that movie drops on the 14th of June, are you going to make the fandom wait 1 year to be able to stream it? And I guarantee you, even if you do put it on there, you're going to make free users have to wait a week. Now, a week won't kill nobody. Let's be clear on that. But dude, think about it. Think about it, right? Everybody wants to see the movie. Everybody would love to be able to watch it and to enjoy it. Excuse me. There might be people who've been in the fandom longer than me since the game started in 2010 that want to see the movie. There may be people, I don't care if they've been in the whole time or if they came in the same time I did or even maybe a year or two after me. We are all hyped to see the movie. Doesn't matter. You put that movie on your website, you allow it to be streamed by the fandom, you will arguably have your entire website crash because the hype will be real. And you see, here's how lucky you are. I don't know if you have an email that people can reach you at. What, the customer service form? What form other than Twitter would you like people to reach you at? Facebook? Okay. That little form that's in the customer service section, what does it go under? Other? Here's the point, and listen to me carefully. The fandom deserves to see the movie. We want it because a lot of us have been around that fandom for at least 5 years, if not more, and even the newcomers coming in from Shining Live. And that's got an update coming up in January, I think. What are you going to do to please the fans that want to see the movie? What are you going to do for the people that have probably come to your website every Saturday or every Wednesday or every Friday or whenever it aired, and even the ones that waited the week because of the free delay? What are you going to do for these people? All these people who want to see that movie that they've waited now since the end of 2016 to see. Are you going to do them dirty, or are you going to give them what they want? You know, there are people that believe that the customer is always right is a wrong statement. Maybe so. But in this case, especially for the people who are paying for your website, you might want to do right by them. And all we ask for is a chance to see the movie. Because I got news for you. Paying for a ticket to go to Japan and getting a passport, kind of expensive. And for some of us, like I said, the idea of having to go to New York, to go to Texas, to go to LA just to see the movie, not exactly an option. So what can you do to help us? Huh? What? What can you do to satisfy the Udapri family? And that means the Starish fans, who obviously drive the franchise bus completely. The Cortanite fandom, who is arguably almost on the Starish level, if not a little higher, only because of the fact that they have pretty much obliterated the Oricon charts almost every time they've dropped a CD at this point. And then the newcomers, the Heavens fans. What are you going to do for them? Are you going to give us the chance to see our boys? It only seem right, wouldn't it? I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I'll ask you, with that, and everything else I've discussed because, whoo boy, like I said, this was one crazy week. And especially for the Udapri fandom now, the just over 5-month wait for Love Kingdom is going to be one hell of a ride. But what do you think? Are you looking forward, A, to the movie? And if you are, do you wish that Crunchyroll would do something for the fans as far as simulcasting it? Or am I making too much of a big deal about it? Like I said, I wanted to have this video out last night, but there was a lot of other stuff to think about, and I had to put that out on my Tumblr first. So, until then, my friends, you all take care. I shall talk to you all later. Until then, my friends, bye-bye.